Okay, so next we've got a part 2 answer we're going to listen to first. Weather and season, classic topic. Describe your favorite season in your country. Okay, when is the season? What's the weather like? How is that season different from other seasons? So we want to see some comparing language, okay, some comparison going on. And why is it your favorite season? I'm sorry, my handwriting's so terrible. I wasn't holding my pen correctly. I can write, I promise you. I'm going to write it more neatly. No, it doesn't help. I have the writing of a child, but that's fine. I'm not the one being graded, so it's fine. The weather is definitely a classic IELTS topic. You can never go wrong with making sure you memorize a bunch of different weather-related words because it's an easy place to pick up vocabulary points. Okay, rather than just saying it's rainy, the rain was like a monsoon, or if it was light and drizzly. Sometimes in the UK we describe it as spitting. If it's just a little bit of rain coming down quite hard, you say it was spitting, like someone actually spitting from the sky. So you can never go wrong with memorizing some good weather-related words because it's a sort of, a typical IELTS topic. Let's see what this candidate did.
Well, first of all, I feel very honored to be able to live in a country with 4 different seasons, which are spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And each of the seasons has their own unique climate, and among those, my favorite, I'd like to say, is a snowy and cold season, which we can easily see during the winter seasons. Actually, I can experience that particular kind of climate in any part of my country because it is the South Korea itself having all different kinds of various climates throughout the year because we have 4 different seasons. And the reason why I like the snowy and cold climate the most is because I can try out some nice woolen clothes to keep myself warm. I actually have a lot of captivating woolen clothes in my closet, so that's my favorite part during the winter seasons. Also, I can try out some nice, delicious foods that are only available during the winter times. One good example would be bungeoppang, which is one of the street food in South Korea, but only available during winter. It's a kind of baked bread with a red bean paste in it, and I'm in love with that food. Besides, I love outdoor activities. I would say that I'm actually a very active and gregarious person who loves to enjoy different kinds of sports. So, and especially one of my favorite to do outdoor activity is skating, and as well as skiing, which are only available during the winter seasons in South Korea when there are enough snows on the ground. Also, I can travel to other regions in South Korea, such as Busan, to enjoy some wonderful snowfalls with my friends and family. And there are Christmas and New Year's events, actually, that I can spend some quality time with my loved ones, throwing out some parties and all that. So yeah, I'd say my favorite season is winter, and my favorite weather is a snowy and cold weather that I can enjoy during those winter seasons.
Okay, so interesting. So overall, a very strong answer. The mistakes I'm going to be picking out from this answer are very picky and kind of strict. Overall, I thought it was a very strong answer. In terms of fluency, I liked how this candidate moved through the questions nicely. She kept her story going, moving forward. What do I mean by that? Giving me new information, telling me a new thing, developing, her answer, and not just getting stuck on one topic or one idea and going back to talk about it. So one thing a lot of candidates do in their 1-minute speech is they talk about the one thing they were going to talk about, and then they panic because they don't have anything else to say. Okay, so part of this is, again, practice, just practicing being able to keep bringing in new information and telling me new ideas, and not going back on yourself and repeating yourself too much. She used some nice linkers, like kind of this or kind of that, which was very nice way of linking your ideas together in a very natural way. Her only repetition was in this idea of snowy and cold. She said snowy and cold a couple of times. So it was slight repetition there. But that was, I'm being quite picky about that. Pronunciation, generally, her pronunciation was very clear and very understandable. And even these words that I've picked out, very clear to me what she was trying to say. I'm going to be very specific on some of this pronunciation advice, but I wouldn't want her to feel like too worried about this. This is just extra, to get better, slightly better at it. Instead of, she had a little bit issue pronouncing throughout clearly, and it was this ooh sound here that she was unclear about, throughout instead of throw out, kind of like she pronounced it slightly differently. So this was a word I would suggest that she works on. When you go through the ooh sound, your lips should be coming forward, ooh throughout. So your lips go forward and then back for the out part. She also slightly mispronounced the word woolen, which she needs to be careful of in the ooh sound, woolen. And then also with her closet, she tended to pronounce it as closet instead of closet. So it's an O sound, not an O sound. So it's not closet, it's closet. Okay, so it's a little bit just to practice. And also this is quite a common mistake. Instead of saying, did you hear it when I wrote it down? Instead of saying baked, she said baked. And it's a lot of non-native speakers pronounce the ED at the end of words like that. But actually this is just a why English is such a silly language sometimes, but we don't say it like that. We just go baked. Okay, can you hear how I'm actually saying it? Baked. Baked. Actually, it doesn't really sound like I'm ending on a D, does it? Can you hear what letter I'm ending on? Baked. It almost sounds like I'm ending on a T. Okay, I had a baked potato for lunch. I used my oven to bake a cake. I baked yesterday. So I'm not going baked. It would be really weird if I said baked. That's very emphasizing it. So naturally, it would just come out like almost like a sort of soft T sound. Okay, so that's something that you can practice by yourself. And then I really liked her intonation on the word love. Okay, she really went, I really love it. Okay, so she showed emphasis and intonation by really extending her O sound. Okay, so that's something you can also do to improve your pronunciation, is by giving me sort of like intonation features as well. Okay, her vocabulary was great with some nice words. We had honored, climate, gregarious, spending quality time with my family. I thought that was great. And then the only grammar thing that really stood out to me as she was talking through was she said, when there are enough snows on the ground. Okay, snows is not plural, so we would say snow. There are enough snow on the ground. And then we would change this to when there is enough snow on the ground. Okay, but again, that's me being very picky. And the only other picky thing I would say is that, Korea, you do have 4 seasons, but so does the UK. We also have 4 seasons. I keep being told this a lot by Koreans. We have 4 seasons in South Korea. Yeah, and we have 4 seasons in the UK too. We've got summer, we've got light rain, heavy rain, and cold rain. Okay, those are our 4 seasons in the UK. Okay, let's listen and see what she says for her second answer, which is about different activities in different seasons and whether you prefer to live in a place with 1 season or 4 different ones.
Well, it's an interesting question, but yes, weather definitely affects my life in many ways. Because, as I said earlier on, I'm living in a place with 4 different discrete seasons, and giving spring as an example. In my country, spring usually begins in January and it continues until April, if I'm not wrong. The weather is not too hot, not too cold, a little bit windy, and there are flower scents in every part of my nation. So the weather itself tells me that the spring has begun. And that just gives me a feel of that it's a fresh new start of the year. So whatever I have done wrong or gone wrong in the past days, I have an opportunity to modify them, and I can just give it a shot on things that I have never done before. So in such way, definitely weather affects my life a lot. And somehow when there are rainings, during the rainy seasons or weathers, I feel very moody and I become very emotional. So I'd say the weather definitely affects my mood and eventually my life. I would prefer to go to a cold place for a holiday because, as I said earlier on, I love the cold weather itself. Well, some people could call it freezing, but I just love to enjoy the coldness. Also, I believe that um, there are some events, parties, or activities that can be only done during the cold seasons, such as Christmas or skiing, skating, as I've mentioned earlier on. Since I love outdoor activities and I'm a very social person, actually it's an opportunity for me to go to other countries and enjoy skiing or skating with some international friends if I go for a holiday to another countries. So I would prefer to go to a cold place and make some friends from different parts of the world, and then we can enjoy those outdoor activities with an amazing snowfall.
Okay, so that was again a very strong answer. So I don't have a lot of feedback 'cause it was very good. So she had some really nice linking, which is going to be good for her coherence and fluency. So for example, we had it that she started off by saying, "Oh, that's an interesting question." A really nice sort of typical way to link into your IELTS answer, to show, and it also helps you to get a little bit of thinking time. Because to be honest, these questions in part 3, she pretty much addressed of these already in her part 2 answer. So what I really liked about what this candidate did is that she didn't just repeat exactly what she said in her part 2, but she kind of acknowledged, I already talked about this, so let me tell you about something different. So then she goes into talking about her hobbies of skiing and skating, okay? So that was a really good move by this candidate, not just to go back and repeat exactly what you said in part 2. That's a danger some candidates do, and it makes you sound less fluent. Okay? She said, if I'm not wrong, I think the last spring season lasts until April. Okay, this was a really nice linking transition phrase. It's easy to remember and drop into your speech whenever you've got a chance. She had a really nice pronunciation of love. Where she really emphasized the love it, which was really nice to see. And she also had put nice emphasis when she talked about skiing or skating, she put or, so she made the O long here again, which showed intonation features, which was nice to see. She talked about discrete seasons. Discrete is a very nice vocabulary word to use. Discrete means not continuous. It starts and stops. You might have learned this if you ever learned maths, discrete numbers and continuous numbers, or discrete data. Like a discrete data would be your eye color. It's either red or it's blue. No one has red eyes. It's either blue or it's brown. Or continuous would be something like height, where you can be like 172.33339 centimeters or something. I think that's right. Don't quote me on that. She said some nice phrases like give it a shot. Like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to have a go. I'm going to try it. Okay. So give something a shot is a nice way to sort of paraphrase that. And she also talked about feeling moody. Okay. During rainy seasons, which again, moody is a very nice description of your emotions. Again, emotion words are very good. Emotion, personality words, very good for you to study up on for your IELTS exam. They're usually useful a lot of the time. So I would try and know how to talk about sort of feeling a bit moody, a bit emotional, a bit sensitive. Like, those are good ways to describe how you feel. And then the only thing I wanted to pick up on that was slightly off was when she talked about in such a way. I enjoy this season. But a more natural phrase would be to say, what is it that you're enjoying, and then sort of put like this at the end. Okay. Rather than saying in such a way I enjoy winter, but it's much more natural to say I enjoy winter like this. Okay, that's a little bit more natural for me to hear. So overall, in terms of fluency and coherence, I thought it was really strong. I'd want to give a 6.5 for that. In terms of grammatical range and accuracy, I thought again was a really nice 6.5. In terms of vocabulary, I thought was great. Overall, again, probably a strong 6.5. In terms of pronunciation, I want to give a 7. Very nice pronunciation. I just say overall a 6.5. No problem. Lots of opportunity to get up to a 7. I would just sort of suggest maybe working on a little bit more of because the one I really picked out mostly was her pronunciation. But maybe just being careful with this a little bit of repetition where she talks about wanting snow and cold a little bit more to bump her up to a 7 for speaking. But overall, in terms of what she talked about and the language, I thought she was a very strong 6.5. Maybe a more generous examiner would give her a 7, but I thought 6.5 was pretty accurate.